No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. So FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate available federal support from FEMA and other federal agencies. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
The White House press secretary is caught lying again, but this time about all the money that FEMA gave to migrants starting back in 2022, and also how they don't have any more money, like Secretary Mayorkas said, to now fund the relief efforts for all the people affected by Hurricane Helene. Representative Anna Paulina, who I've met a few times when I used to work in politics, shares this great video, and we're going to show some real stats about the billion dollars that FEMA has given out to illegal migrants. And now FEMA is saying they have no more to give to tax-paying American citizens affected by Hurricane Helene. Seems fishy.
North Carolina is underwater, 1,000 people missing, while Pinellas County we had 11 deaths, and we have a majority of our residents that aren't going to be able to come back to their homes because they're completely destroyed. You have Mayorkas, the Biden-Harris administration, and radical leftists in Washington, mostly in the Democrat Party, gave illegals $1.1 billion in housing assistance. People that never paid into the system. Mind you, they wouldn't have been here in the first place if they weren't campaigning on open borders, but that's a separate video. You should be pissed. And if you think as a legislator, I'm not pissed, and I don't see the games that happen in Washington hoping that you're not paying attention, because that's how it goes up there, is they hope the American people are too busy working to pay attention to the crap that they're doing. I'm telling you, you need to get out and vote, because this is not going to stop. It's just going to continue with the inflation, with the border security issues, and now we have Americans that are literally dying, not being able to get assistance, and the administration says, it's okay, we'll give you $750. Meanwhile, they said our tax dollars overseas to fund countries that don't need it, and they give it to illegal immigrants.
She touched on a lot of things there. Partially the $750 that now the Biden-Harris administration has helped FEMA give to families that need immediate assistance for shelter, for food, for little things, while they've given out a bunch of money through their shelter and services program right here, which was a SSP. The Shelter and Services Program provides financial support to non-federal entities to provide humanitarian services to non-citizen migrants following their release from the Department of Homeland Security. Okay, now, annual funding totals. Total funding available for fiscal year 2024, $650 million. In 2023, total funding available for fiscal year 2023, 291, 77 million. Okay, so this total says that there's a total of the last 2 years of $650 million, $340 million down here for other, I think other funding raised. And I don't know if that includes the money that has been spent on migrants being able to live in hotels like in New York City, in Denver, in Utah, but hundreds of $millions going to migrants when now Kamala Harris is only promising $750 to families affected by Hurricane Helene.
And I want to thank the local leaders for together creating a task force-like response, knowing that we are at our best when we work together and coordinate resources, coordinate our communications to the maximum effect for the community that has been impacted. And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met, such as food, baby formula, and the like. And you can apply now for anyone who's watching this who has been affected. There are FEMA personnel who are going door to door to interact personally with folks, especially those who do not have electricity. But also that aid, if you have electricity, can be applied for online, and I encourage people to do that. FEMA will just basically verify your address, and then the process should take hold. FEMA is also providing tens of thousands more dollars for folks to help them be able to deal with home repair, to be able to cover a deductible when and if they have insurance, and also hotel costs. Today I'm also announcing that the President has approved the governor's request for 100% federal reimbursement of local costs.
So there's different things that they're willing to give out now. Supposedly tens of thousands that can go out to different people that need home repair. A lot of people's homes have been wiped out, where it's not just going to be repair, it's like building a new home. And even though that she just recently made this available through FEMA, she recently got a humbling moment where she sat there, was doing really a press event to show that she cares about what's going on with the hurricane. And she basically got told by this lady, hey, people are not being helped. But she said it in a nice way, and watch her face, how you can see that she really does not give a crap about hearing this story. She wants to get on with the photo op and move on.
What's that been like?
Well, honestly, when we went up the first day, I was familiar because I used to live in Asheville. And we made the first stop in Morganton, and MJ and I drove up, and I was like, where's they drop off? I need to back up where they drop off their supplies. Me thinking that they're gonna have all these supplies, and she come out, one of our community members come out, and she was like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad y'all here. Come to find out we were the only one.
Really?
We were the only one, and they had 3 tents.
So they didn't even have a center of where to do it, because you were the only one.
We were the only one. They had 3 tents set up outside, and I guess maybe they had about 20 cases of water, and that was it. And what really got me was the 16-year-old daughter came up and seen where we take pads and put like 5 or 10 in a bag.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh my God, we got some pads. And as a female, we know how valuable that is. And she said, because they were in Morganton, not in Asheville, that no one had brought them anything.
Nobody had brought these people anything. And look, Kamala doesn't give a shit. Look at her. She's just like, yeah. She doesn't give a shit. But she's literally being told to her face, these people are not getting taken care of. While yet we'll make immediate reservations for like a country like Ukraine. We'll make immediate reservations for illegals entering the country. Because we have a commander-in-chief like this, where Biden is totally lost even on this issue, down with the hurricane victims. Watch what he says.
Ms. Cheney not only did something for courage, but physical courage. She is her father's daughter.
What do the states of the storm zone need, Mr. President?
Okay?
What do the states of the storm zone, what do they need after what you saw today?
Oh, in the storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm you're talking about. They're getting everything they need. And they're very happy across the board. So we just got to I'm going to have to go back to the Congress and get some more money for it. Ms. Cheney.
And that comes after, I believe he just did a tour of the damaged area, a flyby tour, because he can't go down and sit down and see anything. Did a flyby tour of the storm area, and he's like, what are you talking about? Not only him, but the Secretary of Homeland Security, I believe he is Homeland Security, let's see. Secretary Mayorkas said this about funding running out. They don't have any more money for U.S. citizens, but they have money for illegal migrants.
Meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
This all comes as the Biden-Harris administration spent over $1 billion from a FEMA program on services for migrants.
Meeting the immediate.
That's crazy, man. Over $1 billion, like Anna Paulina talked about before in that chart I showed you before. Over $1 billion, and now they're basically running out of taking care of U.S. citizens, which here is also something very interesting. I don't know how this works out, but it is interesting. Before we get to this final video, North Carolina is a swing state. It was one of the areas affected by this hurricane. Is there going to be slow efforts to take care of these people and go give them what they need, get them out of the situation they're in, help them get reset up? make sure that they have not only somewhere to be and somewhere to live, but that they can go vote. Is that going to be part of the, because this is mostly in rural areas, and usually rural areas vote more conservative than they do Democrat. Is FEMA going to be very slow to take care of these citizens in this situation, based on different reports that we've seen in a video I'm going to show you in a second, in order to possibly alter the election? That's just something to think about, because there is strange things going on. Right now, we're going to hear from a trucker, and then we're going to hear from a lady working with some FEMA agents about the weirdness and the lack of response going on in this endangered area after this hurricane destroyed so many homes and people's lives.
The people in North Carolina, you deserve to hear this. I'm a truck driver, all right? I have a 53-foot step deck. I've been trucking for about 2.5 years. I have a YouTube channel. You can verify that on Babyline Hotshot. Usually in a disaster situation, it is payday for truckers. We look for that hurricane. We look for that ice storm. There's generators coming to you. There's stuff coming out of military bases. There is excavators, skid steers, bulldozers, tree trimming equipment, pumps, like water pumps to pump water out of places that have been flooded. There's no loads on the load board coming to you within 125 miles of Asheville. It's called Truck Stop. This is where I find all my loads. Chicago, Illinois, up at the top. Within 250 miles of Chicago is where I'm gonna pick up. The second is the destination. So it goes origin, destination. Watch, see, drop off location. Let's do city, North Carolina. Click it, boom. All right. These are all $1.40 a mile loads, $1.39. That was posted yesterday. I mean, there's nothing. There's nothing. These are loads that you wouldn't even, nobody's taking them. They're just on the load board. They've been on there since yesterday. You can see, right? Let's type in a different city. That's from Chicago. Maybe Tennessee, maybe Nashville is closer, and they'd send resources from Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville, Tennessee, within 250 miles of Nashville, to Asheville, North Carolina, within 125 miles. Let's see, that's it. That's all the loads. That's all the loads that are 28,000 pounds and less. I mean, what the hell's going on here? I had brokers call me and tell me, Stu, have you seen any loads going to Asheville or like anywhere around the Carolinas, South Carolina, Georgia? Is there any like FEMA loads? There's none. Zero. He's been a broker for 6 years. And he's talking to other brokers. They're saying the same thing. What's going on, guys?
Why is there such minimal loads, allegedly, going to these affected areas of Asheville, North Carolina, Tennessee, even a little part of South Carolina? That's weird. And now we're going to hear from this woman who was trying to help in the situation down in North Carolina, down in that area where people got destroyed from this hurricane. And these weird alleged reports from her about what's going on with these FEMA agents down there. It all seems fishy again.
Hey guys, so I know I do a lot of like fun and like happy videos or whatever all the time, but so I'm here in Boone, North Carolina. I'm at the staging area. I volunteered myself and my canines to come up and do some search and rescue efforts. Here's the situation, okay? FEMA is in the area, and we've been told that if we see any FEMA agents, like hightail it and go. So obviously you see all my equipment. So we've been told to just like turn around and go the opposite direction, because what they're doing is they're confiscating everything. Like they would confiscate all of my gear, my car, my dogs, like literally everything. There are some people who have been tracking these FEMA agents and what they do with these supplies after. And these are people that are directly associated with the group that I'm volunteering with. And essentially what they're doing is they're taking these supplies to sanctuary areas for illegal migrants and giving it all to them. They are telling the locals here that they have no more money, that they can't give them any money, they can't do anything, but they are confiscating volunteer supplies as they come through, and they are giving it to people who are not legal within the country.
If that is true, which would not surprise me at all. Sorry, my mic got a little loud there. If that is true, oh my God.
Of course it is very hush hush. Of course they're saying that that's not what they're doing. I will tell you this. I was 11 years in the Coast Guard. I was in Puerto Rico before and during Maria and Irma. I was stationed there through all of that stuff. FEMA did the same stuff there. To the point where the Coast Guard, we did not work directly with FEMA because they were doing shady stuff. So we ended up loading a bunch of supplies and stuff and taking it around the island and delivering it. And we did the same thing after the earthquakes as well. They were confiscating supplies. They weren't issuing supplies. They mishandled money. They mishandled distribution of supplies, and the locals suffered for it. And they are doing the same thing in North Carolina. This is not a joke. This is not a theory. Like this is not false information. Like I'm here, I'm boots on the ground. We are actually about to go and fly into a different area via helicopter. We're gonna go to the airport, load up the dogs, and we're gonna fly into a different area where families are missing. But the initial meetup point was the Boone area. As far as families missing and stuff, right now Boone is clear. So we've been given new coordinates to go to a different area.
That's
but
awesome.
Yes, FEMA is here and they are doing really, really sketchy, shady stuff.
Wow. And it would not surprise you either if you looked at this stuff. The way that they function, the way that Mayorkas has been so weird, the Director of Homeland Security, with regards to the assassination attempt, would not surprise me at all. And it just proves, again, all the money that's going to illegals and the minimal amount of money and small response going to people, American citizens, shows you once again what this administration is all about. It's itsSeanDaniel here. If you enjoyed this video and you're here at the end and you want to subscribe, feel free. There'll be more videos coming. Like the video if you did enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next one.